Hey, read this. Otherwise, the video is not going to make much sense to you. Better yet, watch my welcome video. The link is in the description below.
Hi, Simon. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm excited to chat with you in a bit more detail about this Web3 engineer opportunity. Do you know very much about our company?
Um, I've just checked your company, but I don't have much knowledge about the company yet.
Oh,
So he's done zero research on our company, typical of these scammers who apply mindlessly to tons of jobs, hoping for a bite and never bothering to read the job description. One really annoying thing about Simon, whenever he got stuck on a question that I asked, he would deflect and change the subject to one he's more comfortable with, sometimes diving into super long monologues that I never asked for.
React is my primary library for
okay.
front-end, so I prefer using React to build front-end website.
Are you looking for only remote opportunities?
Yeah, I prefer working remotely because it's so flexible for me.
Great. Okay. This position is 100% remote, uh, but
Oh,
but we ask for the only thing is we do a 2-day training at one of our offices. Okay,
mhm.
and we have an office in Dallas where you are. So, are you able
Oh.
to do a 2-day training in Dallas?
I have some disability, unfortunately. That's why I prefer fully remote working.
Oh, you have a disability.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, so you cannot go into the office at all.
yeah. But I can work remotely and dedicate to my work because I have some disability.
Okay, okay.
Very interesting how Simon goes from preferring to work remotely because of the flexibility it affords to suddenly requiring remote work exclusively because of his disability. And this all happened the minute he was informed of our on site training.
What type of compensation would you be looking for in this role, please?
My rate was around uh, $10,000 per month.
If you're someone who truly lives and works in the US, you answer the salary question either on an hourly basis or a yearly basis. For example, I'm looking for $58 an hour, or I'm looking for $120,000 per annum. I've never met a single candidate in the US who's offered their salary requirements on a monthly basis, like this guy just did. Where it is more common, though, is overseas, in Asian countries like China. Another thing on his LinkedIn profile that I found pretty interesting was that he claimed to have gone to college in Singapore. And that's where I happen to have grown up. Okay, and what currency is that?
Mm, of course, USD.
Okay, okay, I just want to make sure because sometimes you have Canadian dollars, US
Uh,
dollars, Singapore dollars.
yeah,
Um, and
understand.
I saw that you lived in Singapore, right? You studied in Singapore?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. How long did you live there?
I was born in Singapore and just came here about 2 years ago.
Oh, I grew up in Singapore as well. Which hospital were you born in Singapore?
Um, I was living in capital,
In where, sorry?
capital Singapore, Singapore, capital,
In Hector?
capital.
So I finally realized later that he's saying capital here. Also realizing that he dodges answering my question yet again. But talking about the capital is BS because no Singaporean refers to any part of Singapore as the capital because it's a city state, which means Singapore is the city, is the capital, is the country, is the island nation, is the everything. It's all the same thing. There's no difference or differentiation. If you're really from Singapore, you know this and wouldn't say otherwise. Our friend here, who claims to have been born and raised in Singapore, spent 3 decades here and only left 2 years ago to come to the US. Apparently, he doesn't know this.
You grew up in Singapore?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, nice,
yeah.
nice.
And you said you were
Uh,
born there, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born there too. And since it's so small, I was wondering which hospital were you born?
Uh, cool, cool.
Cool is a nonsense response to my very direct question. Sure, there's a possibility he didn't understand me, but I get the sense that he's simply hoping I show mercy and move on to the next topic, as I had done earlier. But I'm not letting go of this one. Yeah, cool. Do you remember which hospital you were born in Singapore?
No, I can't remember which hospital I was born.
No problem. He laughs at my question here like it's a ridiculous one. Again, Singapore is a tiny country, population of around 5,280 square miles. For context, it's smaller than Rhode Island. So ask any Singaporean for the name of the hospital where they were born. I guarantee you they'll know the name. The stench of BS is getting really bad now, so I'm going to press the Singapore issue even further. You went to study at Singapore Management University, correct?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. So this is the section of his LinkedIn profile where he claims to have studied at Singapore Management University. The SMU campus happens to be just down the road from where I used to live. It's also less than a mile away from Singapore's most historic, most iconic landmark, the Merlion. This half lion, half fish statue that you see spewing water on the left, that's the Merlion. And unless you're blind, it's impossible to be from Singapore and miss the Merlion. It's even on our banknotes, our coins. Let's put it this way. Being from Singapore and not knowing about the Merlion is like being from France and having never heard of the Eiffel Tower. So let's see what our friend here knows about his supposed neighbor, the Merlion. Do you know where the Merlion is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Better line.
You know, or no?
Did you graduate from Singapore Management University?
Okay, here he goes again, trying to deflect and change course, answering my question with another question. It's pretty clear to me he has no idea what the Merlion is, despite it being just a 19-minute walk away from him. I was very close to there, so I walked by the campus almost every day. So you don't know the Merlion, right?
Maybe I guess he was not our professor.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the Merlion?
No.
Never? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. He thinks the Merlion I'm referring to is an SMU professor. At least he's finally admitted his ignorance. Maybe he thinks I'm referring to Merlin, the wizard. At any rate, he's given himself away. Now I'm convinced that he's lying to me. Thank you for your time, Simon, and I'll be in touch very soon, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's do a quick recap. The scammer candidate Simon, number one, he could never meet in person. Even though we offered a meeting in Dallas where he's purportedly based, he said he couldn't meet in person due to his disability, and of course that's a sensitive topic that nobody would challenge, certainly not somebody in an HR function such as myself. Number two, he knew absolutely nothing about his supposed hometown of Singapore. He was constantly going on random tangents, changing the subject whenever he got stuck on a simple question. And number three, he didn't have a Singaporean accent at all. He had more of a Chinese accent. No doubt that Simon here was lying to me in an attempt to score that big payday. Nice try, Simon, but I didn't fall for any of your
bullshit. Bullshit.